So this is something that we started last year. It's the International Woman of Change Award. And it's something that I think is a perfect way to begin the ending of this day. We're going to give this award, and then afterwards, Sally's coming on for kind of that final rallying cry. But we started this award because, one, we need to recognize more role models. We need to call out the women that are just doing unbelievable things, because there are so many of us doing unbelievable things. And we hope that after today, you take all this inspiration, you take all these insights, you take all these relationships and everything you've learned, and you go and you create change. We are all international women of change. We are all those change makers. We are all creating a better world. And so a little bit of background on this. We created the award to highlight the dedication and efforts of a woman with outstanding achievements in using her platform to elevate other women. She has used her social, political, financial capital to create a more equitable and just world. Last year, for those who are here, you may remember Deborah Messing was the inaugural winner of this award and brought the audience to a standing ovation after her acceptance speech. This year, we are beyond honored to have Academy Award-winning production designer Hannah Beachler as our International Woman of Change. Hannah's work has shown countless people once again that women are strong, independent, smart, successful, and that diverse voices are not just a part of conversations, but are leading them. Hannah is the woman behind the incredible production design in Black Panther. Yes, yeah, I mean, seriously. It was her brilliant mind that helped bring Wakanda to life on the big screen. Knowing that the set had to reflect both African American and African cultures, she went looking for the right influences to incorporate. She traveled to many countries. She looked at tribes, languages, economics, trades, conflicts. This is allyship. This is empathy. This is going deep to understand cultures and perspectives, and then taking action to bring that to life, to amplify it, to give it voice. I hope we can all learn from Hannah and the power of listening, watching, and understanding others so as to create new and better worlds. I admire Hannah's values-driven approach. She said, and I quote, "I just kept creating a place where there was a sense of agency, where the people did not carry the weight of their skin color on them, where the future was their past and is their present." You may also know Hannah from her work on Oscar-winning films Moonlight, Beyonce's Lemonade, Fruitvale Station, and Creed. But she made history this year. After 9 decades of the Oscars, Hannah is the first Black person to be nominated in the category of Best Production Design, and the first Black person to win it. Her Academy Award is not just a testament to her talents in production design, but a testament to breaking the glass ceiling for all those hungry for representation, for intersectionality, and for equity. Hannah has paved the way for many to come after her and shown women and girls that their best is enough. So Hannah, you could come up, and you might have seen, you can come up, Ben.
Yeah. Wow, thank you. This is amazing. Thank you so much, thank you. Thank you. Right here. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, well, wow, this is amazing. Thank you so much. I'd like to thank the Ellevate Network and the Mobilize Women's Summit for having me here. Like all these phones and stuff. I'm nervous, right? I've done this once before and I was just as nervous. And this is an incredible honor. And I'm very humbled to be named the International Woman of Change. So with that said, I was thinking, they're like, you got 20 minutes to talk. And I was like, I'm a talker. What am I going to talk about? And let me talk about a little bit about change. So I wanted to start this with telling you a story. If you're bored, just hunker in. My son does it all the time. But so when my son was 3 years old, he's 21 now, so a whole voting age human being years ago. And he's 3, and we're driving. I was a single mom. I'm going to school. I'm working 2 jobs. And we're driving to my mom's house, which was always a nice time because she would make dinner, and it was a nice needed break. And I hear these sobs from the back seat, of the Honda. And I pull over, I look, I see my young child crying in the back of the car. And I pull over and park, and I kind of turn around, looked at him, and I said, well, what's going on, Dominic? What's up? What's going on? I always talk to my son like he was a full-grown human. So, this was not a strange thing for me to say. And he says to me, 3 years old, crying through tears, he says, how do I change anything in the world? Well, I just was hungry. I wanted to get to dinner, and I was like, my 3-year-old is asking me this question. It's not something that you really think about. It's one thing when they say, why is the sky as blue? How does one person? So he kept going on like, I can't change anything, and I'm just one person, and he was very deep into that. So that stuck with me it'll stick with me forever. Because that was the day I really started thinking about how does one person change anything? And when I was young, change was something, social change, cultural change was something that was so big and overwhelming to me. Something that it was promised by politicians and spoken about by governments. And so I always just assumed that was something somebody else did. I didn't really understand, I couldn't quantify what that meant. And I was just going about my life. I knew that I wanted to be happy and that I maybe had those choices to be that, but never really thought, other than doing what I was supposed to do, that there was much more to my world at that time. So as the years go on, and I have all this written down, and I'm still nervous. So as time went on, and especially over the last few years, as my career has started to change a lot, the trajectory of my career has changed, and the people that I work with have changed, I thought about the questions that I'm asked, and oftentimes people will say, how would you define yourself? Tell us who you are. I get asked that question all the time, and for the most part, I didn't really know how. I was just doing what I thought I needed to do to survive. That was where I was working with, survival. And I would always think about that question, like, who am I? How do I define myself? And I realized that I was asking myself the wrong question. It's not really, how do I define myself? It's, how do I define my actions and my response? I am not defined by the struggles of my community. I am defined by my response to that struggle and the actions I take to support that response. That's what I'm defined by. My response, and so I thought more about that, my response to feeling powerless, which I feel every day, is to create art. My actions are seeking out films that tell the stories of boys and girls, men and women who don't see themselves or their stories being celebrated or told. That is my action and my response to that. And I'm learning over the years as this goes on, your response and your action doesn't have to be global change. It doesn't have to be, because that was part of it feeling impossible, that you have to do these ginormous things and make these general sweeping things, and so you become paralyzed and you do nothing. But maybe tweet about it, but maybe be upset about it, maybe experience but not know how to let it out, right? So, and as I went on, I realized that my response to racism and bigotry is to take the path not traveled. My action is to pursue my dream without hesitation or fear, to put myself in spaces one wouldn't normally find someone who looks like me. And then to announce in only the way that I can that I am here, and you will get used to it, because you will see more women that look like me. My response to sexism and misogyny is to use my voice beyond the art I create. To not just break the ceiling, but to throw myself against the wall until the building falls, so that we can rebuild and redesign the structure that has limited and caused harm to so many for far too long. My action, giving the most precious thing that we can give, time. Being there face to face with the next generation, the young women leaders, the next generation of filmmakers and storytellers, the next Black production designers, the next generation that will tell their stories from their perspectives. One person can change the world just as easily as one person can destroy it, with the help of others. So the most honest and brave action we can take, and that I've learned over all of my journey so far, is to let change happen, and to let the next generation lead us into their future. Thank you.